Hey Royals, welcome back to Melanin Madam. This is the channel where everybody is offended and nobody is guilty. So somebody lying, and we usually uncover who lying. Y'all ready for tonight? I'm ready for tonight. Tonight we have the Disney mom who was arrested. We have what happens when men are the side piece and they don't want to let go. And then our ultimate topic, it ties back into Diddy, of course, but it's an everyday situation that wasn't exactly televised the way it should have been. We will have our co-host introduce herself and then we'll get started.
Hi everybody, it's Rose and happy Taco Tuesday. I didn't have tacos again tonight. I had chicken wings. But happy Taco
Oh, my
Tuesday.
food. Nope. I had I'm supposed to have Chick-fil-A. I need to eat. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so let's get started. If you are hungry, this is like dinner time. So hopefully you have either rolled something up, poured something up, definitely get your alkaline water in, have a little fruit, have a drink, and definitely loosen that bra. Here we go. Let's start with the lovely Disney mom. She's not melanin. So when they say things like they so ghetto, they be changing their child age to get a discount and blah blah blah. Oh, really? We're the only ones? Or we're the only ones called out? I mean, y'all do be taking y'all 15-year-old kid in there talking about they too. You be pushing it, but let's watch. This is so embarrassing. Let's see.
I had saw that and I asked a girl that I know that worked for Disney, like, because they were saying she was sneaking them in. So I immediately text her and was like, do you know what happened? I was like, because how can you sneak somebody into Disneyland and then sneak them in 4 times? Like, and she was like, she didn't really sneak them in. She was just saying that they were, 2 years old. And I was like, well, why did they let it go on for so many times? Like, and then you didn't have to do that.
Well, what escort her out like that?
Yeah, they didn't have to do that.
So apparently the other part to the story is, so you're right. It wasn't that she did sneak them in because you snuck them in without paying. That's still considered sneaking in, but she didn't hide them away and get them in there. They pulled her to the side, obviously told her what they found, offered her for her to either pay for the tickets appropriately and stay, or to leave. And apparently, see, this is what I'm talking about, how things are reported differently. It was in writing, but it wasn't in the video. She became disgruntled. So that's why 7 people, I counted them, 7 people had to escort her out. That's why. But they don't tell that part.
Yeah.
Only when it's
I'm
us.
like, they did not have to do that with them little girls. That's the only reason I be thinking of the kids.
Well, look at the way she was resisting.
Yeah.
Did she
I
look
didn't
like
know
she was
she was
walking out freely, or did she look like she was kind of being...
Yeah, I would be that way too if they just came doing that, but knowing that they asked her nicely to do it at first, then okay, ma'am, that's your fault.
Disney would never treat somebody like that. They actually pull you to the front. In the front where that area is that looks like Old Town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the police and stuff sit. So they pull you into that space and then they tell you whatever. But
I
obviously,
wonder how she was able to get away with it that many times. Like, how did they find out? That's my thing. Like, how did they find out on this fourth time?
repetition. So most thieves are not smart. Repetition. So when you're doing something like that, there are people that like to hit up different people, meaning they will not get in the same line. And there are some people like, oh, she let me do it last time, so let me go through her line again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it must have been something attached to repetition and then able to be like, I don't really think so. I didn't think so the first time, but now let me pay attention type thing. So I'm pretty
You
sure
got
that's
away
what
with
it
it a
was.
couple of times. You was being greedy, so
As usual.
they
As usual.
have payment plans for Disneyland tickets too.
And do. So you didn't have to do that. Anyway, I don't I've never done that.
Me
I
neither.
haven't. I've never done it because I don't want to be that
I
person.
be scared. You know, I'm scary. I remember when we took Amir last year. His daddy was like, "We can say that he too." I said, "As tall as Amir is, no, I'm not doing it." I'm like, I am not doing. I'm like, you can do it if you want to. I'm not doing that, and we didn't. So,
I'm with you, twin. I'm too scary.
I'm too scary, and then like that.
And I don't want to be embarrassed. I'm too scary. It's not worth it for me. I'd rather just do it and then look at the repercussions. Now your kids have to leave Disney. It's embarrassing. They're watching police officers. You became disgruntled and did all of these things in front of your kids. And that's where I kind of say, when they say things like, well, dang, they didn't have to do it like that or whatever in front of the kids. Well, you also didn't have to behave that way in front of the kids. The root is you shouldn't have done it to that
I
degree
know
because
I
they
always be
gracefully pulled
wanting
you to
to
the side.
hear the backstory to everything. So I called her up so fast because I'm like, why would they do that lady like that? But then how was she able to get away with it that many times? But it makes sense now. It makes sense. Like you said, they don't tell the whole story. So that makes perfect sense now.
So, what do you think? Okay, so I was having a conversation with somebody about, and they were telling me, actually, it was Mark. I was having a conversation with Mark, and he was like, yeah, he was talking about it with his coworkers that, so sorry, so I didn't see it. Hold on 1 second. Oh no, that's Shonda. Um, somebody told on her. Oh,
Anonymous. Oh, okay. Dang. You that invested in somebody else that you telling, but I guess they like, if I gotta pay full price, ma'am, you do too.
it could be that. It could be my kids is better than yours, and her kids is bragging to the other kids who can't go. It could be um a couple of things. So you gotta like be careful when you do stuff. But
Put
that's what
them on.
happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's she was being greedy. You got away with it too many times. You was being
Right,
too greedy.
right. So it could be listen, jealousy is the worst thing to have somebody be. Because if they are jealous of you, if you created any bad blood, we've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
If you doing dirt and your dirt get out, you are the person that needs to, not that you need to kiss nobody's being very greedy.
Yeah, she was
Not
being
that
very greedy.
mm-hmm,
Very greedy. That's why I
mm-hmm,
was like, she caused that on herself. She was being too greedy.
mm-hmm. And listen, it watch how you treat people too, because you never know what happened. Um, so Mark and I were having a conversation and we were talking about how when the difference between a man and a woman cheating. And it was that a woman cheating, I don't know if he said worse, but he said it ends differently. Like if the
Mm-hmm.
couple ends up staying together, they could be out to dinner and that dude that you cheated with might walk up like and say something, or they don't let you have peace. That's when they become visible because they want to fight for that girl. And I was like, well, even if you tell the truth, why would they want to do that? Why don't people just keep, I mean, if you're gonna cheat, tell the truth. That way that person knows. Because we always say you didn't put them in their place. That's why they acting like that or whatever. I agree with him because I think that on the front end, the women act a fool because they're the ones who typically tell the girlfriend, the baby mama, or the wife because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be seen and they want her to go away. So they do it on
And
the
hurt.
onset
And hurt.
and they want to hurt her. So that's what I said. And then I said, okay, I can see based on what we've seen, even in Snap, different things like that, that at the end, when if a woman decides to stay with her husband, baby daddy, or whatever, that is when that dude acts a fool. But it's because I was asking why, and he was like, "Oh, it's because they're invested. They've invested in this girl. Girls don't cheat down; they cheat up. So we experience ours on the back end." If we get caught or if we decide to stay in our relationship. And I was like, wow. Um, if he's a beta male, that part, if he's a beta male, he would because he would be in an energy that's not normal for him. Correct. Most men wouldn't act like that. Correct. I agree. So where we tell women or where we tell men all the time, nigga, if you gonna cheat, why are you cheating with the bottom of the barrel where off top she jealous of your girl? Even if you not the one doing all of those things. She don't know all of that. All she sees is
Right.
that girl is pretty, a certain thing, and she jealous off top. How
And
many
she want
fights
what
you
that girl got. She want what she got.
point blank period. And don't matter if it don't come from him. She don't know none of that. All she sees is they're doing this, and so she can't take it. On the back end, a man be like, I guess he invested his time or whatever, but I'm with Shonda. It's usually a beta male because I just think women cheat smarter. Women that have sense and have something to lose, I think that they cheat smarter.
They
That's
cheat
just how I
smarter.
feel.
And like they say all the time now, women cheat just as much as men. I was like, I will say nowadays, probably in this new generation, women cheat, but they just giving out the same energy that men do now. Like it's like we gonna treat y'all the same way y'all treat us now. Period. Point blank. I think that's how it is now.
I agree. I don't think that, I think that women do probably cheat just as much, but I don't think that they initiate cheating.
No, it's
They're-
something has to be done to them, and then it's like when you do it, like all right, bet,
Mhm. And
bet
not that an excuse or that is right, but
it is
it
right.
typically.
It is right.
Let's play the clip and we'll be right back. I can't with you, Rose. I can't. Here we go.
Niggas, I'm gonna tell you like this. Stop fucking up your happy home cheating with these low down, no good, selfish ass side bitches. Cause when the shoe on the other foot, they not gonna do it back for you. I done just witnessed it firsthand. They cheated with this bitch my whole relationship. She gonna up and get a boyfriend and try to cut me off. Nah, bitch, that's not how it work. You ain't put in a 2-week notice of shit. Talking about I ain't gonna do him like that. No, you ain't gonna do me like that. All the $20 and $30 I done gave your motherfucking ass, then fucked up my whole relationship because of you. Then put up with your snotty nose, shitty ass babies, then send your bald head ass without your sew in, and you think you just finna go live happily ever after? Nah, bitch, you in violation of code 5062 in the side bitch handbook. I have the authority to call that nigga and fuck up everything you got going on. Don't play with me like that.
Well, tell us how you really feel, sir. Did he say 20? Take go off of mute. Did he say 20 and $30? Did he say 20? Is he mad? He said 20 and $30.
All the
Most
20
men
and 30.
invest in women that has someone. These men are tricks anyway. They'll find someone else to trick on. Their ego won't let them act crazy. Not an alpha male. Not an alpha male at all. 20 or
Right.
$30, sis. Coffee is $20. I don't
Yes.
understand. He's mad, mad. He's definitely a beta. You could hear it in his voice. He's a beta. So women, um, first and foremost, it is not appropriate to cheat. And if what do we tell men? If it's that bad, just leave. My real answer. Dear women, sometimes women cheat because they are at their wits' end and they try to reel their relationship back in. They try and try and try, and they don't want to let go of their husband, boyfriend, baby daddy. So in the meantime, between time, since that ninja out there doing what he want to do, you find a pastime as well. In
That goes
2024,
into
I can't say I disagree with
look
that.
at Cardi B. She been getting cheated on her whole relationship, and now when she say that she did something bad, look how he acted. He real tight. He real tight now.
A
But he
real
been
beta.
yeah, he been doing the stuff the whole relationship. And like I said, I don't even think she really did nothing. I don't think she had sex while she
I
was
don't
pregnant.
think she did.
I think she just said that to hurt his feelings, and it worked.
I will say this. I haven't cheated to get back yet. The reason why I haven't cheated to get back at somebody is because in a relationship, I don't have children. So maybe it's different if you have children. But I don't have children. So for me, I was taught, and this is my big sister that's talking shit. These are the type of women that I have around me. the type of women that I have around me, I could honestly say they don't get dragged. They don't. And for the things that I may think one is getting dragged for, there's something that they may think that I am. So it's not a complete loss. It's not something where you just look at it and be like, you crazy. You kind of look at it and say, no, hang in there. So if they don't cheat usually. So I don't know that I could cheat for revenge. Like, this is
It
my
ain't even
body.
worth it. It's to me, it ain't even worth cheating for revenge. Like,
That's
nigga,
your
I'm just done
body.
with you. Yeah, like I'm just done with you. Unless you cheating to get revenge and then know that you about to leave him alone, then yeah. But if I don't know.
I think that's a hard one. I think it's way different from men and women. Women can get more things. Women can have more at risk. It could mess up your whole reproductive system if you do certain things. So,
But I want to say men can get more now. I honestly think men, these women be tricking on
yeah.
these men nowadays.
Oh,
Is it
if
cheating
he
if you're not
cheating, if you're not,
married? I thought it was.
mm,
Yes, man, women.
may the
No, it's
best.
not cheating if you're not married.
No,
Unless
it's
you're in a committed relationship, it's still
correct.
cheating. But if you're just dating, that's not cheating. And people don't
Agreed.
understand that. Remember, we said that before. People don't
Mhm,
understand what the term of dating is and courting. They don't know the
mhm.
difference between it now. So if I'm just talking to you, then I can talk to
You
however
talk to
many
whoever
men
you
that
want.
I want to talk to.
Mhm.
But I honestly do think more men get
It
a
be
lot of
Shonda
stuff.
with the loopholes for me.
I honestly think that men get more stuff out of women nowadays. Because just think, these men be getting whatever they
Because
want
they be
out
moving
here,
around too much and they be crossing bacteria and doing all of this other stuff. So I guess
getting
in that
whatever they
regard,
want.
yeah, I
They be
will.
having so many women, and then women is paying for everything because a lot of, just think how many men it is to one woman.
And they go to the doctor less too. They
Yeah.
don't even take care of themselves to be big 304s, don't even take care of themselves.
And then
So yeah.
to blame it on the girl, like Nick Cannon. All the girls he messed with have bad hygiene. No, you're the one passing out STIs.
Well, Shonda said she did. I mean, I know she did, but I don't tell people business. When
She
I
did
tell you
what? Cheating, and it felt great.
whatever she feel like doing.
You
So
see, I
remember,
said,
Shonda gonna beat
remember,
me up. No, she not, because she know this. So my sister told me, this was before I got married. I think I was in my early 30s. And she was like, it was a guy she was dating. She's a Pisces too. It was a guy she was dating, and she got a little irritated with him because I think she wanted a car or something. She was like, that's what men do. They buy cars. I was like, they do? She was like, they don't buy cars? I was like, oh dear Jesus. So the women around me, their requirements is a little bit higher. They're a little bit higher. And I've never heard of none of them have to deal with like a crazy psychopath dude, but they're all very honest. And I even learned that from my Uncle Ronald, to be honest. Now, you can't control these days. That's why I started with everybody's offended, because we are really in that culture where everybody's offended and nobody did
mhm.
nothing. First of all, let's go back to the word cheating. If you're in a relationship, you are cheating. If you are married, it is adultery. Those are two different things. You don't cheat in marriage. That is adultery. That is different. But cheating is only if you in a relationship. All these girls and guys, they be getting upset because somebody's talking to more than one person. The foundation is y'all don't even know how to properly damn date. Y'all don't even know how to
Right.
properly classify
Exactly.
somebody, and it's not right. And the scary part is people are getting unalive for this kind of
And
stuff.
then they don't even want to be in a relationship. They don't even want to
They
be.
just don't want you to be enjoying life.
They don't even want to be in a relationship, but they don't want. They want you, but they don't. They want you, but they don't want to be in a committed relationship. But they don't want you to be with somebody that wants you and to be in a committed relationship.
Shan, I didn't get a car either. I mean, I
Me.
got things. I got other things that I won't share because I don't need nobody being.
You know, I got
People
stories,
been
but I
watching my page.
that
I'll
I
just say that.
didn't say stuff. I
I
got
can't
a lot of
wait to get in that
stories.
shop chair tomorrow. Um, Yeah, people been on my page, so I'll be a little careful with what I say. No, Shan, I didn't either. I got nice things, but not like a car, which I probably would not accept because you're not finna come back and get this car or be doing weird stuff. People do weird stuff. I'm always leery. To me, why you doing so much so fast? If I'm not in a position for that to be something that you would want to give me, unless you're a millionaire. But if you working every day like me, why would you want to do that? It makes me scared of people
I had
because
people that I had this one man. He told me that to start looking for houses.
I've had them tell me that, but I'm not doing it.
I didn't do it either. And then I had
Yeah.
other ones. I had ones like that, but the ones that want to give you something like that, them the ones you really don't like. And now thinking back, I was
You're
like,
trying to buy me.
yeah, it's like you trying to buy me, but it's like, why do it be the ones that you really don't like? Them is the one that give you the sky, but the ones you like just be.
Well, let's
So
take it back because men buy women. That's why.
I feel like in my next relationship, I need to be
Now
bought.
that's crazy. No, Shonda, you're crazy.
I need to be bought the next time. I'm okay with it.
I plead the fifth.
To be
So
bought out there, fellas.
I
It,
think that if I had to go back into the dating pool minus one person, I would be very different. I would be very 2024. But the only thing that wouldn't change, see, for me, can I have sex without emotions attached? I absolutely can, just like a man.
girl.
Do I think that my body is my temple? I do. So for me to share my body in that way, I cannot. But then I have sisters and friends that live their best life, and I think it's the best thing ever. But what I don't agree with is when you do things that ultimately you're doing it to get back at somebody, or for that
Yeah.
you're ultimately hurting yourself. You have opened Pandora's box. You don't know how this is going to impact you. And there are a lot of people that are hurt and then they want to be hurt and say, he made me do this. He made me cheat and do this. No, he didn't. That was your body and you violated it to yourself. If you're not violating your body, live your best life safely and honestly. I don't have nothing to say about that. Is it a sin? Yeah. Do we all commit sins? Yeah. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, I don't have nothing to say because
I would if I
you
could go
sure
back.
did get the pink slip because that ninja bought the car. You did. Sis, I don't think so. This became my sister like in my late 20s and hairdresser. Shut down the whole shop for me on my wedding day. Build good relationships. Women love women. One of my biggest cheerleaders. Anyway, life lesson. Be nice to women.
Right.
Um, I don't think she's bought her own car since I've known her. Shan, I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a mess. I love having these kind of women around me. I'm proud of each and every woman in my family. And those are family. I don't have friends. I only have family. Um, and I love it that way. So what would you say, Ro, before we move to the hot
Oh,
topic?
look, I would lose my
Girl,
train of thought
Shonda
fast.
is a mess. Somebody must be under the dryer right now. You can give your cat a you can do whatever you want. If that
Yeah,
tickles your fancy, because let me tell you, in my head, I should have had a whole phase. I was just telling Mark that. Like I never had a whole phase. I
I
wonder
did.
if it's like
I did, and it was
you
cracking.
did?
Hell yeah, that was I talk about that all the time on everything I love. That was probably the best part of my life. It was
Yeah.
like it was like I was going. It was like the end of my 20s and the beginning of my 30s, and that shit was cracking. I'm not gonna lie. Like I always say that was the best time when I had my whole face. Like it was fun. It was fun.
I think that's the appropriate age to actually do it too.
Hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't hmm, I don't
I'm
think it
telling
is.
you, it was fun. It was
I
fun.
didn't have one either. No, Shan. Me and you was together hiding from everybody, remember? During that time. We
Girl,
was hiding from everybody. Everybody else was getting in. We was
I
like,
was everywhere. It was very fun.
I always
I
had a boyfriend though. I either
I
had a
wouldn't
boyfriend
trade
or I
that.
was
You
single.
know how they be like, if you could go back and change it, I would not change that. I would not change that at all.
I don't think that you should. I don't necessarily, and no one, we know.
That's when men will always tell me I act like a man. Everybody will be like, you don't act like a regular girl, like you act like a dude. And I'm like, why would you say I act like a dude? Be just your mannerism. Like, because I will only deal with them when I wanted to deal with them. Like, you're not calling me, I'll call you. If I want to go somewhere, where are we going? What trips are we going on? Like, it was up to me. And I had a girl
And
that
that's the way that it should be.
a
It
time
really
was
should.
had. Look, a time was had.
I think that's the best time ever. So we've discussed our timeline before. So now let's stick the whole phase in that timeline. I think that your whole phase should be after college. I still think it should be after college, maybe towards the end of your senior year and on. Here's the reason why: you don't want to get pregnant. You don't want
Yeah.
to be attached to nobody, and you don't want nobody in a place where they know where you're going to be. You're tied to it, especially if you're away at college, to be able to flip out on you, right? And you don't want girls. It's just too much. You should be focused on school. But immediately after that, that age that Ro just said, um, 25 to 30, I think that should be the time that you live in your best life, because I think that you should get married at 30. So if you live in your best life at that time, dating a plethora of people, and you don't have to sleep with them all. There are men that, it's a whole phase, but you really just going on trips with them, doing different stuff. You're dating them and they date like that. You don't have to sleep with all of them. I mean, you can if you want to, but be honest with everybody. I think that that should be the space where if you gonna live your best life and do everything you want to do before you get married, I think that that's the perfect time to do it. I do. That's just how I feel. Deuce was a business deal.
You didn't need that faces. I
You
would
didn't
not.
need that face, sis. I wouldn't have done so much. You telling me that because you know me in person. Either I would have never returned from that space because I act like a whole nigga, or I would have been a basket case. Like, oh my God, I'm going to hell. Jesus is going to wither my vagina. I am so scary, y'all. You must have been raised about. I was. I have more men around me. My dad's side is more men. With my uncles and them, all of their friends was males. The girls didn't really talk. My aunt, she's always been in my life, but not like that. And then the girls was way at college. So no. I have
See,
more memories of men.
my mom, we was raised around more women, but my
Mm.
mom always told us to date more than one man. She, even when we was in high school, she would be like, we need to date more than one person, because once you date one person, that's when your world could be turned upside down, because you and your feelings about that person and everything. She was like, if you date more than one person, then you won't be like that. And I was like, I wish I would listen to her earlier in life. What the hell?
So I even asked that question. So while we were having a conversation about men acting crazy on the back end, I was like, well, if you're dealing with somebody that is married, why would you be locked into that person? If that person doesn't get a divorce, I'm not locking into you because you're locked into something else. Will I, now the person that's married should only, if you transition or whatever, I don't think you should be out there like that. But for the person that is dating somebody or interested in somebody that's married, it should be an unspoken rule, or actually nothing these days should be unspoken. It should be a conversation. And you should be well aware that that person that is single, they can date. They can.
Yeah,
And
but
if
it's
it
not.
gets
But
serious,
it's
just go
not.
on and tell you.
It's not. It don't be like that at all.
Well,
You know,
he
I didn't
said,
did it. You know, I didn't did it all, but I don't feel
I
like
don't
we.
tell people's business.
Look, I'm
Um,
like, I don't need to be judged. No,
no.
you know, I
He
don't care.
said that it's
No,
because
I
I
don't
said,
care.
well, if the person is married and they go back to their person, or decide to move forward with their person and have, their life evolves or whatever, why would it make the person that was the addition mad or whatever? Because they should have had open and honest conversations.
I was
So
about to
when
say,
it was
because
starting,
that person was not being truthful or nothing. I'll just tell the truth. I dated a married man for a long time. I knew he was married when I first met him. He said that him and his wife wasn't happy or nothing. They really did get a divorce. Like, but he still never wanted me to talk to nobody else. And I will always be like, you, at the end of the day, you still are married. Like, but it was not saying it was different, but like I could literally call him at his house with his wife. Like I could call, and you know how most people, if you call them and, oh, I can't, are they turning their phone off? They can't talk once they get in their house or nothing. I can call him whenever I'm on in the middle of the night or whatever. Like, but he
So to
didn't want.
me, that's why yours, and I would just like to say I'm the best secret keeper. I would never say that, even when we're talking about the topics, because that's my twin and I don't tell people business. So, I mean, I just told Shonda business, but she here. That's different. We have a different relationship. Um, uh, that's where it gets a little bit rough because I don't know. I just feel different with women. And here's the reason why. There are men, not in your case, but there are
Mhm.
men that, especially if they pay all the bills and do all of these things, they will disrespect the shit out of that woman. And that's not her choice. So it can either be that, or it can be, oh, she knows what's up. Maybe they stand together to for the kids for a little bit for different reasons. They're transitioning out. But if I was going to be, you weren't invested, but if I was going to be invested in a person like that, if I don't hear from her, it's not true, because anything could happen. But I just don't see the outside person
Girl,
becoming that
I never
angry.
got jealous or nothing. Girl, I would be
You
mad at
didn't.
him when
You
he
weren't
would be trying to
invested.
tell me that I couldn't talk to him. I'm like,
Smart girl.
boy, you are married. Like
But you're a smart
you're,
girl.
yeah. And I'm like, and it's like they didn't. He was with her for a while because they had so many kids, and he was the breadwinner. He the one who paid all the bills and everything. So he was like, when I do get a divorce, I know that she's going to get everything. And he was like, I just feel like, is it worth it? And I'm like, well, if you want your peace of mind or whatever, then it will be worth it. I was like, and then at the end of the day, you still take care of your kids. When you talk about divorce all the time, your kids say they want to stay with you. You come home from work, you the one who got to cook for your kids when your wife been at home all day. I was like, the judge is gonna have your, yeah, he gonna have your favor, and the judge did. So he ended up having to, split the house or whatever, give her the half. But and he did. He only had to pay alimony, I think, for a little while. He didn't have to pay child support. She had to pay child support to him. So the alimony that he was paying her, she had to pay it back to him for child support because the kids ended up staying with him. I was like, I told you. So it was different It was different in my case because the wife knew about me and everything. It wasn't like I was just out there.
Right. Very different.
Yeah, some little
Very different.
scandalous bra. But to some people, I'm still scandalous, which I don't care. But to some people, it still is scandalous. Like
If
he
you
still
know
was.
the real story, I could understand on the outside looking in, because at the
Mhm.
top of everything, the way that we should look at marriage, and it's very unfortunate that we can't anymore, but the way that you should look at marriage is, at no point in time should somebody else intervene into the covenant of that marriage until the divorce, the ink is on that paper.
Right.
Because we want,
Anything could
we
happen.
believe in God. You
Yeah,
believe
you
that
can get back
if
together
God
and
put that
everything.
together, right,
Mhm.
you can get back together. If an outside person is there, it could be a distraction. Those things are true. But because of the world and the climate that we live in, I truly understand why God said, you are not of this world, because we're not supposed to pay attention to those things. But I believe that's where the God knows your heart piece comes in, because there are some people that hold very strong, believe in these things. But when you visually see and hear something that's totally against that, it kind of makes you think, what covenant? In this particular situation, like yours. What covenant? If she knows this is an exit, it just looks a little different because they have kids and she hasn't worked and these things, he needs time to move away from that. If I see that I'm not a secret, he needs time to move away from that. Or vice versa, if it was the girl. Things have just become so complicated now. And what I would say is, use your discernment. If there is somebody that's really on the rocks with their relationship ending, whatever kind of relationship, and
But men
you're
don't be
talking to that other
truthful
person, still do
nowadays.
it with caution.
Yeah, I just feel like men don't be truthful nowadays. Now I
They
will
don't.
say that I
Peace
do
of
feel
mind is
like
absolutely priceless.
it
And
is
there are some
priceless.
people that are living in hell in their own homes. And I feel horrible, especially when it's a man. I've experienced that with my own family. To your point, I've seen the man's side. So am I pro woman? I am, but I'm pro man as well. I've
Mhm.
seen what it looks like when you know that you're about to lose half of everything. And for us, it's way different. It don't take you 2 seconds to build that back up when that was your real money that you saved and they didn't contribute and they did all of these things and they should have been working, but the law is about to go in their favor because of the way that it looks, not the actual reality. That's scary. And it ties back into when we talk about people got to make decisions, and a decision is never easy unless it's cut and dry and everybody can walk away happy. It's very seldom that everybody can walk away happy. And that's the part that makes it
That's
very hard.
very true.
It makes it hard. So let's get into this case. It's going to be a bit. So this is a case of there was a person that worked for the Bureau of Prisons, and she worked with somebody that had just gotten out of prison. He had an idea to bring a program into the prison where it really helped the inmates be able to transition back into life, taught them life skills, therapy, all of the rehabilitation that they should have been having. And he wrote it from a perspective of being in there. Well, there was a Caucasian woman that he reached out to that had the influence. She was the head over that department. She took a liking to him. Problem number one, she took a liking to him and helped him with the program. She had major influence. She brought it into the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did not accept her advances, she took it away. Didn't I just say last week? This happens everywhere at every level. And Diddy looks big to us because it's so gruesome in the way that they're putting it out and things like that. But here this case is that was literally during COVID. And why isn't as much coverage on it? But it's actually just as bad because you're doing this to one man and then you're doing it. And then across it was correctional officers, judges, lawyers, all of these people that was involved. Why wasn't this majorly televised just like Diddy is right now?
Mm-hmm.
It could be one of your family members that need help and nobody's believing him. Why wasn't it televised? So let's take a look at the clips. And this is for you to know that men are me too, and we need to start believing people, even if they work at McDonald's, even if they're just on a cheerleading team. Just saying, this shit is real and it's not funny. I don't understand. Here we go. First clip.
She was the one that told us to come and film this.
Right.
In a strange turn of events, we learned that Chip had filed a complaint of discrimination. He alleged that acting deputy director Judy Simon Garrett, the very person who paved the way to bring Chip's program to federal prison, made romantic advances on him, then became hostile and threatened his work. Chip shared Judy's text messages with us. She speaks of the love she has for him, how her position at the BOP can help him, and eventually the anger she feels towards him. They also include a photo on stage with Attorney General Jeff Sessions and a selfie of Judy laying in a bed.
She said, "Listen, you frustrate me and confuse me and make me sad, but fact of the matter is, I really do love you. I've spent weeks trying to convince myself not to, but it isn't working." What was that about?
When I used to greet her, I used to call her, "Sweetheart, how you doing?" Well, I used to do that. But it wasn't in the realm of me trying to pursue a relationship. But if I really wanted that type of relationship, I could have had it, and we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Did you sleep with her?
No.
At one point she sent you a message saying, "How do you just stop communicating with someone you supposedly love?" This message implies that you told her you loved her.
Yeah, I told her that. I love the fact that me being able to give back to my comrades. I love the fact of the things that I was allowed to do. But it wasn't love what she wanted.
So let me say, first I had to change my camera. My bad, because my phone overheated. Okay, there we go. So just like I said, in every space these things happen. Who has more power than the law? They're the biggest gang members ever.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. Because how
That's
much harder is it to tell them
ugly.
than them?
That selfie was ugly. Yeah.
I was not trying to go there, but immediately when it popped up and I was watching it, I was like,
I was like, ugh, that is not sexy. Like, ma'am, try again. The hell?
I mean, I know he just got out of the system for a long time, but honey, he's not ugly or desperate.
That picture was not sexy at all.
And here's the other thing. If you notice on the thumbnail, there's no picture of her. Do you know how hard it was for me to find articles?
You know
You
they'll
know, I
keep
couldn't
their
find a
stuff
picture.
hidden. They will keep their stuff hidden. But
Ain't
that's
that
sad
something?
that she did that to that man. But like how he was saying sweetheart and all that stuff, he shouldn't have been doing none of that stuff or saying that he loved her, even though he wasn't saying like I love you, I love whatever X, Y, Z. He shouldn't even been doing that. If he knew that how she already felt about him, he shouldn't just
He
call
didn't
her
know at
straight
that point.
still. Ugh, they be oh my gosh. I don't know.
Here's what I like about his. Here's what I like about his, and we'll play the rest of the clips. Wow, for real, right? You took. I can't with these kind of people. Here's the part that's the wow, and this is the part that I educate managers on. When you say things like that, I agree. Words are strong. Words are very strong, but it's very interesting how words are very strong when it's a man. Could nobody find no fault in Cassie to begin with at first? Could nobody find a single fault in nothing she said? But with him, I played one clip and it was, well, you shouldn't have said you love him. I mean, I said the same thing first. I did like, damn, that's where you messed up. But then I thought about it in my head, like, I've said that before. To my employees, no. I'm very careful with my employees, but I also have an HR background. I'm very, very careful. But to coworkers, she's very much so a psychopath.
Hell
To
yeah.
coworkers, I said, "Oh my gosh, I love you. Thank you for doing that for me." That could have got me in trouble.
Yeah,
We say
it
this.
could, but you know when you people interpretate stuff different when it's text messaging. So you said stuff on text messaging and you
No,
said
he
that
said it verbally.
oh okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it wasn't in text. He said it
I was
verbally.
about to say because sometimes people look into text messages way
Correct.
different.
You should never put that in a text. And
Mm-mm.
she's bold as hell. She's actually using the government phone. She read what she wanted to see. Off top, you did it only because, well, let's go to the next clip. We'll go to the next clip. And then you will be able to see. So this is clip number 2.
So we're trying to get hold of the woman herself, Judy Simon Garrett, to see what she has to say about actually addressing these claims of sexual harassment that Chip has filed.
Hello.
Hi, this is Isabel Young calling from Vice. How are you?
Good, thanks.
We were hoping to have a chat with you. Partly about the program, because obviously you're the one that brought us the program in the first place and made us aware of it. And partly about what's going on with Dominic Chip Henry.
I have no idea what's going on with him at all. I haven't been involved with anything with the program in a very long time.
Well, so obviously we weren't able to continue filming the program, and then Dominic Chip Henry has made us aware of the sexual harassment allegations that he's filing.
I don't never seen any allegations filed, so I couldn't speak to that certainly.
After Chip filed his formal complaint, YMI unravelled. An investigation was launched into both Chip and Judy. The fragile support that kept YMI running was gone, and the prison staff who didn't want to empower prisoners to begin with also pulled their support.
It was very difficult for me to sit back and watch as an educator a program that was making a difference to just be ripped away. That's where you really saw the impact, where these guys were kind of lost. They had had a purpose, they had had a focus, they had a mission, and then it was just taken away from them, and they were just left with nothing. It was shut down, and you just kept your mouth shut. Just let it go. It died a slow death. You never challenged Judy Garrett. because she could make or break you. She could.
Don't worry about ever talking to me again. After what I have shown you in terms of support, you want to accuse me of some shit. Yeah, let's see how things work out without my support. She says here, I can assure you, you won't be doing any business with me and the BOP.
And that's, the retaliation.
So when we talk about that's all they had, their stuff was going to get shelved. What's more important? Those prisoners that are being impacted, his program getting pulled, and that's really all he had. You've been in jail all of this time. How many more people is going to give you an opportunity like that?
None. And that's actually a program that they need. That's a whole nother show. But that program, they really.
So now you see why I say things like, I don't care if Diddy was telling y'all your music was going to be shelved. Number one, music is like the NBA anyway. Cassie, you were not going to be Beyonce. Cassie, there's other things you could have done. You could have went back to school. You could have been a lawyer. You could have did a bunch of stuff. You could have pocketed that money he was giving you and saved it. You chose. It's still a choice because, like that man said, he chose.
It is a choice, but it's still different.
It's hard. It's not different. It's hard. Period. But it's not different. But it's hard.
But I could understand why.
I can understand all of it. But what I don't like is not taking accountability. Why is there such a difference between men and women? Right away, he's saying, I should not have said that. But when women say it, it's I had to. But when men say things, they generally take account. This is the space where not this particular space, but this is an example of how they say we don't take responsibility. He's still saying, I'm a victim, but I know where I could have did things different. Why won't women do that? They just want to be the victim, period. But you're not admitting when you know you did things that were like, well, shit, I'm going to play on that. Just say that you did it. That's what I'm saying. Tell the truth. But I'm not saying it's not hard. He made that decision, and that decision not only did it impact him on the outside, you have those people on the inside that was dependent on you that and that it would have helped them. That program got people time off. And while she's saying, I haven't been a part of this program for a very long time. Do y'all know that this case was 2022, 2023? So long time where? When they say why is Diddy lying, well, what are they tell truth?
She probably didn't think they knew everything that they knew.
A really big abuse of power is kind of
that's sad.
But they love our men. But let's
for real.
Let's see why though. Why would you be interested in that one? Because you just lied and said no. So let's take a look real quick.
If I had a chance to do it all over again, I would probably do it a lot different. But I just came into the real world. And, things are moving kind of quick. I'm doing what I'm doing. I got these people helping me, this and that. Yes. Yes, I love that.
Chip says he never had a sexual relationship with Judy, but things undeniably got weird.
This is one of the spots she used to tell me to meet her at. I had to bring this because at the end of the day, I want people to understand.
So she gave you this bottle?
Yeah.
With a note inside it?
Yeah.
I love you so very much. I love you for who you are, who you have been, and who you will be. I know your real life is just beginning, and I hope I have the privilege to be with you every step of the way as you make history. You are my 1 in a million. The second most powerful person in the BOP hand gave you this message in a bottle.
Yeah.
So Cassie got jealous of how Young Miami was able to move and gain success, and Cassie didn't capitalize on her opportunity.
Y'all think that's it?
Ain't that what I keep saying?
I don't think.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. 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 You're absolutely messed up. You're absolutely angry. You can't tell me that you don't see that.
Your
I
whole
don't.
premise.
I think that
But listen,
I think that
you
men
do
treat
see it.
women.
We've said it before in two different spaces. Her whole premise is, I'm shelved. I didn't get to be up to my full potential. But and with her, whole lot different. Even he shelved her, but he had that 10 record thing as well.
Thing
So she
with her.
wasn't just shelved. She was hostage. Cassie was hostage as well. And that's why I say you are the victim. You don't need to put the extra stuff on it.
But the thing that was different with him and Cassie and Young Miami, Young Miami wasn't signed to P. Diddy. She
So
already had.
you exactly. So you listen to what I'm saying. This is why we're saying that. You are very jealous, angry, hurt, pissed off, all of that. Because not only did he shelf you or blackball you, he didn't blackball you. He actually owned you. Because
Yeah,
until you produce those 10
those 10.
records, you can't go nowhere else. But with Young Miami, right away, how you get in a show, you up here with him, you making money, you getting all of these opportunities while I just sat here all of this time and you just gave it to the next bitch? Bro, in a regular relationship, we would be jealous off of something like that. Like how I helped build you up and then you get with the next person and everything I ask you to do. Part
But
of you is going to be
it's to
upset.
me it always be like that. They'll
But
treat one
that's what I'm
woman,
saying.
yeah,
So
they'll treat
yeah, I
one
think
woman a
Cassie was mad. I
way,
would be
and
mad.
then they'll treat the next woman the way that you wanted them to treat you. But I don't know. It just her case to me is just so it just be all around for me. It should have
But
been no
bro,
reason
that
for her to.
legally, mentally, physically, that to me is at the peak of why she is upset. That to me would be exactly why I came for him. That would be exactly why I came for him. Because you
But
got me. You
she got her
stole my
money.
life. He literally did steal Cassie's
Mhm.
life. He stole it. So you mean to tell me you don't think that because he stole hers and then you turned right around and gave it to somebody else, that wouldn't trigger her even more? Man, listen.
It probably would, but that's why I be saying I was on low key on Cassie's side. Like
I'm
how I was
I'm on her side.
yeah, but I'm saying, but I still don't feel like she should have had no reason to be jealous of Young Miami. Like you got out of the situation that you wanted to get it. You got out of that situation. You got the money that you want. You got somebody that really loves you.
She didn't get
And
the money she wanted until she sued. We're saying what
well,
pushed her.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
but you
what pushed
still
her in the
you got
he
it now.
took
But
everything
even
from her.
before that, you got somebody who really loved you that helped you give you the strength to do this lawsuit and all that. So at the end, who really won? Cassie really won. Young Miami didn't win. Cassie really won.
That wasn't Cassie's goal to begin with. Cassie didn't love Diddy. Cassie didn't want to be with Diddy. Cassie was with Diddy because of the opportunity. But he took
Well,
the
he would.
opportunity away from you at the very beginning because he signed you to a 10 record deal. From that point
Well,
on,
she
you were
was
a
stupid
hostage.
for signing that. Ain't nobody did no 10 record deal from Bad Boy ever.
That's not even heard of. But
Yeah,
you know, when
especially
she
and
got
then
tricked into, well, I don't know if she was
with
tricked into signing it, but
even with Bad Boy, you ain't seen nobody put out maybe 3 records as if that's it.
you
You
want to
ain't
know why she signed 10? Because it's Diddy, so I'm gonna make all of this money and I'm getting 10. Y'all only got 3. Well, you technically got 1. It was a hostage situation. He did it to keep you. He did it to keep you. And he did. And it worked. She was a hostage. That's messed up. Young Miami, was free
she
to
was
be
free to be
herself. She didn't
herself.
sign no contracts and none of this stuff. Um, Cassie was not free at all. She was a hostage. Point
They
blank.
was treated they was treated totally different. That was
Yeah, very
their
different.
relationships was night and day. Just think
Correct.
even how Young Miami talked to him. Cassie, we barely even heard Cassie say anything to him.
Exactly. So imagine being held a hostage all of that time. And not only can you not make money with him because he owns your name, he owns
Mm-hmm.
you as well can't go anywhere else. You legally can't go anywhere else. So even if he didn't blackball you, he don't have to blackball you because
Right.
he got you in a contract, He had you in that contract. It took her that long to file. Yeah, because she was brewing up the anger and putting it all together. That's why she would have.
Well, remember they said that
Listen,
she had a
the
first they
timing is
said that
suspect.
she
The
had
timing was horrible.
a book. So she went to him first and said that she had a tell-all book that she had wrote that she was going to put out unless he gave her the 30 million. When he told her no, that he's
So she
not going to give
blackmailed
her
him.
no, then she filed the civil lawsuit on him and was like, if you don't give me the 30 million, filing this lawsuit, and he had so much control over her all those years. I guess he thought that she really was gonna do it, and that was his downfall. That ego, like she already had a book.
The ego was the downfall, but to me, you went about it. I mean, she did what she did, and it worked. But I still think, even in that space, it was some devious mixed with some truth, mixed with some hurt. It was layered, for my perspective. Because if you wrote a book, then just sell the book. But here's the reality: you knew you wasn't making. You would have never made $30 million off of that book. Never.
No, she wasn't
So
making
you
30
did
million,
that
but she
to
would have been a
blackmail
number one
him
seller.
into 30 million.
She would have been a number one seller.
She's definitely a number one seller, but never
A
$30
number
million.
one seller. But
Yeah,
no, she wouldn't
never
have
30 million.
wouldn't have made 30 million. I think that's what. And to be honest, we don't know how much she got. She could have got more than 30 million.
Yeah.
Because remember, they didn't really say how much she got, but that was his fault.
Very much so. Very much so. Okay, let's see the next clip. Is this it? Okay, let's see the next clip. Is this one?
Nearly a year later, in 2019, the Office of the Inspector General released a summary of the investigation launched after Chip's filing of harassment. It found that Judy had lacked candor during her interviews regarding her relationship with Chip. She'd also engaged in a separate, inappropriate sexual relationship with a BOP union executive that included the use of a BOP-issued cell phone to take and send sexually explicit photographs. Judy was subsequently fired, but a long-standing culture of tolerance for sexual harassment at the BOP remained.
When you see people abusing the inmates, or you read things in the paper about officers having relations with this inmate or that inmate, people are reticent to speak out in public unless they can get some protection because of retaliation. It could end your career. You may not go anywhere. I mean, there is an unspoken rule in the agency. You mess up and you move up because you want to get him out of your department, so I'll send him to somebody else.
3 years later, the BOP's director resigned amid widespread misconduct.
I'm surprised she got fired.
Well, they have to. That bureau is over the police, so they go straight to a Supreme Court when they do things. And the interesting thing, right, is when we talk about the small fry, and when there are some people that are like, they're speaking from a different perspective, right? There's so many perspectives you can speak from. People technically can't be wrong in how they feel, especially with this one. When they say things like, why Diddy? Why R. Kelly? There's so many other ones out there. What about them too? Well, when they speak about things like that, they're not saying, well, the problem is they don't say, what about them too? They say, what about them? As if you shouldn't touch this one and only touch this one. No, you should touch all of them. But these are the things that they speak of. For those of us that go down a rabbit hole, know other things that have occurred, somehow attached to law, you know that these type of things are happening every day. And we see our timeline hasn't stopped for Diddy. Our timeline hasn't stopped for R. Kelly. But what about this? This literally just happened. And I could bet you most of y'all didn't know it. Here's what I could tell you. I didn't. It popped up for me. The Lord be sending me lessons. I'm watching YouTube and it popped up and I was like, wait, what? And then when I saw the date, I was like, wait, what? Then when I saw it was close, I was like, oh shit, that was actually here in Colorado? Whoa. I didn't know. But the point is, like I said, when I went to look her up so I could do the picture for the thumbnail, no picture. When I went up to look up articles, CNN covered it and Forbes covered it. CNN and Forbes. Even, I'll say even people like, what do we have? The Shade Room and things like that. Please explain to me, while the urban culture is full of that stuff on your page, why don't you have any of it about what's happening to the urban culture? Why didn't you support this Black man and have that out there? Why is it that we as the small fries have to pick up and see things like this and then start tagging celebrities for them to watch it, and they may and may not say something about it? Why is that the case? Those people are the most vulnerable. They're locked in a cell. They can be pulled out whenever. It's not really the inmates' relationships with them and that level is less than the ones that are actually in power. They can pull them out. They can transport them. There's been one saying that they could get out at night and they leave and go to hotels and they make them do things there. There's ones that say behind a black screen that they've been let out to go do particular crimes for these people and then have to go right back to jail. Well, what are you going to tell them? Even down to unaliving people, even like really bad things to these people. Why isn't there enough focus on that? I can't believe some of the things are happening that I wouldn't even think of. On Thursday, we're going to talk about a girl who came out, and it is complete trigger warning. If you can't watch on Thursday, you can't watch because I can't filter what we saw. But apparently, at some of the F-offs, there were children on the table like centerpieces that you could do whatever to, and they came from CPS. Never in all of my brain power would I ever have put that together.
Me neither.
Bro, when I saw that, I was like, did she just say CPS? And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of sick people that are out here? But
And
guess
remember,
that's the
you were saying
runaways,
too,
the kids nobody care about.
CPS would be auctioning them off, and they always pick the younger kids.
So when they're everyday people that sit at jobs and their whole integrity is questioned, it could happen to you or me. And just to be clear, if you're a person that had to do these things to keep your job, or you even did it until you found another job, you couldn't just quit right then, because let's just keep it a buck. On that level, there are people who I could not just quit my job today. If you don't have money in the bank for savings, how do you quit?
Right.
And you have kids, you got rent due. In those situations, do I believe the word can't exist? I do, because that's very real. That's math. If you don't have that money and I quit this job, my question would still be timing. Like we've all said, why did you stay so long? Why didn't you have an exit plan? Because you know you're a victim too. If you get out of there, you are a victim too. But there's a threshold where that changes from being a victim and you being paid for your silence at that point. Because here's what will start happening. Like that man said, I like the things that was coming from it. I like the favor that I was getting. He knew in the back at that point, he knew that she was attracted or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He could tell before she said something. We all like that favor, but at what cost? I'm sure he didn't think it was going to go this far. I'm sure he thought it was going to be a little office flirting, because that can happen too. You just flirt in the office, but the person respects that you say no, thank you. But it's just a little flirting. With somebody in power, the first time that they flirt or something, get away from them.
Right.
Because they're groomers. They knew before they came, because think about how much they will lose if you go tell. So they was grooming you already. They was seeing if they could do it. They was giving you things. She gave him things first. She picked up that program. She made it work. She did all of these things. She wanted that man, baby. Because what did that note say? I'm excited. Something about being intrigued by where he was going. She attached herself to where she knew he could go, because she knew, if I'm a white woman, if I just put this battery in his backpack, because he already has everything he needs. He only needs a word of mouth. If I do that, we could be a power couple. We could be amazing.
But she would have. The thing is, she's stupid, because you still would have got in trouble. Because I'm pretty sure if y'all would have came out and he would have accepted her, you still would have got investigated after that, because they would have been wondering, where did this start? So, lady,
because it's a conflict of interest. You mean because it was a government contract? Yeah.
You would have got caught up.
You'll still be in trouble.
Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Because it came out that she had other people, and trust me, you're not the only one. There are women too that do these kind of things. There are. I don't understand how the world got so evil, but now with the access and different things like that, educate, don't be blind yourself. You can't just sweep something under the rug. With something like that, um, when I told you guys I was cornered in an office, after that, I made sure I wasn't accessible. I made sure that I was never in my office, like by myself. I kind of moved around a little bit more. I wasn't as quiet anymore. I'm very quiet at work, actually. I go, I do my job. I'm one of those. So that's how I know that I became a target because they pay attention to how you operate. Also, I overly say, I'm from the hood, I don't snitch. I don't do that. And it was a part of my job not to snitch. But um, it's a certain behavior that you have to have so that you don't. Because after you say no, my life became hell at that job. It became hell. That's how I ended up being on Xanax because it was bad. I would have panic attacks where I could not breathe. They just started fucking with me. And it wasn't just one person. So be very careful. If things like that happen from the inception, that ain't the first day they thought about it. They thought about that before and they chose you. They picked you out. And when you say no to somebody with an ego, that demonic behavior is crazy. So start looking for another job, even if it's getting out of a department. You need to get away from that person. If you're not going to tell, you need to get rid of that person. Get away from that person. But I feel bad for anybody in that position because we have to go. We at work more than we're anywhere else.
Right.
And just think for a prisoner, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
You're in the prison. I put the link to the actual whole video in the bottom. That program being taken away, especially it's recent, like I said, 2023. Those grown men were crying because they were like, it was run by them. It helped them get time off from the act that comes from that, but you have to have programs to bring it in. A lot of prisons don't have programs, so they're doing day for day. There's so many things that's happening right underneath our nose, and we don't understand the implications. We just assume those things are there. I thought they were. I didn't know you couldn't have it. It's a government. Government usually have rules, but we don't have the funding. We don't have the resources. So that's why some of the people don't get it. But they were crying like, I wouldn't have got invested. This is why I didn't want to get invested and start loving this thing. And now it's gone.
And now you take it away from me.
And it was gone in a day. Like this happened in the middle of them doing this documentary where she's the bitch that called them in. And you saw how she was acting when the girl called back, like if she didn't even fucking know it.
Right.
Like you didn't call this girl to give her an explanation, nothing. She just told the guy to stop talking to her. And because the other guy that was sitting at the table, not the one in the suit, just got out as a result of that program, he didn't talk to the girl because he's like, I don't know who's who. I don't want to be in trouble. He didn't talk to her. But then once the two black guys connected, they realized, he found out some other things were going on. But do you realize that those two men had to put their neck out for everybody else? Because look at the other people that got vindicated because of that and believed because of that. Those two guys have records. You could put anything back on them and they going back to jail, but they still did it. So is it hard? Yes, it is. And it's a little harder for some. Their actual freedom is attached. Don't stay nowhere for money, fame, none of that. You'll get it if it's yours. That's it from me. So the diddler isn't our biggest concern because, like R. Kelly, most of those people voluntarily participated. Not to that degree, but you participated. Some people don't have a choice. And that's where the shit be like, pay attention. People need help. And be a whistleblower on the people that, if you see it, you can actually call the whistleblower number and your information won't be there. It's no way to attach it to you. It is for real anonymous. I promise you it is. I've received some complaints at work. Not me, not with my name, but I've received them and they truly are anonymous. So do what you can to help people. If you're a family member and go right on your phone and go directly to the website and report them too, because you're a third party. You can tell too. Poor people. So that's the story of our guy. He ended up getting a settlement though.
Oh, that's good. I was wondering what happened with him.
So
Oh,
here's the last clip before we go, and then Rose could give her exit, and then we'll see you back on Thursday. So here's the last clip.
Nearly a year later, in 2019, the Office of the Inspector General released a summary of the investigation launched after Chip's filing of harassment. It found that Judy had lacked candor during her interviews regarding her relationship with Chip. She'd also engaged in a separate, inappropriate sexual relationship with a BOP union executive that included the use of a BOP-issued cell phone to take and send sexually explicit photographs. Judy was subsequently fired, but a long-standing culture of tolerance for sexual harassment at the BOP remained.
When you see people abusing the inmates, or you read things in the paper about officers having relations with this inmate or that inmate, people are reticent to speak out in public unless they can get some protection because of retaliation. It could end your career. You may not go anywhere. I mean, there is an unspoken rule in the agency. You mess up and you move up because you want to get them out of your department, so I'll send them to somebody else.
3 years later, the BOP's director resigned amid widespread misconduct.
I thought we watched that one.
All of those are different cases, did we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of those are different cases. Did I play the last one about let me play this last one just to make sure. It's 28 seconds. Y'all work with me. Roll with me.
Regardless of how successful you become in life, you can never outrun being in prison, being incarcerated. For a black man to come forward with these allegations, there's always this doubt. Why would this white woman of this stature find this black guy of this stature to be worth anything? And for him to not capitalize on that, what is he up to?
That's true. You would think that.
It is. So when you wonder why some people don't say something, there are a great deal of people that don't say something strictly because they are black. You know how difficult that must be? Do you really understand? That off top, because we are black, we're automatically thinking, I'm not going to be believed. They're going to fight against me. I'm going to have to do this. That's already a whole different set of anxiety. And then wondering why. So you're automatically scared because why did you even offer me this? Why is this even happening? And now I'm uncomfortable from the onset. And it could be somebody purely wanting to help you. But the odds of that happening are so slim that immediately you're thinking something is wrong. And like they did with this man, immediately when he rejected it and fought back, how did that even have to go to trial?
Right.
That should have been settled out of court right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How did that go to trial, Ro? He had the pictures. He had the text. She wrote it in her own handwriting. She even then, after he filed, the motherfucker followed up and said, you don't have to worry about me doing X, Y, and Z. So sound familiar? Sound like what Diddy did? So how is it she's not in jail? You only got fired? You didn't go to jail too?
Girl.
They didn't put the program back? Why didn't put the program back, bro? People run the risk of losing a lot. So some of those that take the bullet because our slave mentality tells us to, because it'll save X amount of people if I just do this, they could be a victim too. And it could look like they enjoyed every minute of it and they hate every minute of it. But because you see something shiny for them, you don't understand what it really took behind the scenes. I think that's very sad. So that is it from us. Protect yourselves at all costs. Women, be careful what you wear to work. Men, be careful how nice you are at work.
Exactly.
Men cannot say dearities. Like those are called dearities. Like sweetheart, things like that. Mm-hmm. I say those things to my younger staff, the girls, not the boys. Mm-hmm. But I catch myself even with them because now LG, that group, right? I don't want it to look like I talk like that on a regular. At work, I become really
nobody. You don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
main
and I don't
thing.
want them to think I'm
Say I was
flirting.
offended. I was offended.
Right. Or she was offended, or favoritism, or I don't want it to
Mhm.
look like I'm opening a door for somebody to say that thing. So for my counterparts and my superiors, I don't talk like that to them at all, period whatsoever. And I don't want them talking. After you get into leadership, I don't think you should talk like that. If you are an individual contributor on the floor, it's way different. But once you have a position where you have influence and power over somebody else, you need to be very professional. I don't give a damn what the situation. It will save you in the long run. All of that ways, just this or just that. Keep it up. Keep it up. So we will be back here on Thursday. And then where can we find you tomorrow, Rose?
You can find me tomorrow at 8 o'clock on Talk to Rose.
What are you going to be talking about?
How high it is to live in the United States. Should you? What's the benefits? Well, what's the pros and cons of being a homeowner and a renter?
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
And
Especially
how the generation below, the younger generations, how are they going to even be able to afford housing with the cost of living now and the wages? It's hard.
that's a good one. Okay, we'll be tomorrow on Talk to Rose at 8, and then back here on Thursday for the Thursday Turn Up Friday Eve to talk about the rest of this shit. I'm telling you, we need a game night. I think we need a
Yeah,
game
that
night.
would be fun.
Next week, we're going to take a break. We're going to need a game night. So thank you for joining on the way out. Make sure if you haven't that you hit the like button and then share this video. And if you work somewhere in public, just go and print my stuff out and put it on your work desk, your station, whatever. And when you just meet random people, just tell them to subscribe. Okay? Thank you. Very nice of you. Have a nice night.